yet where we can make mass changes and things like that, because you start to see it in our play. You start, at a point, just taking, there was a game where Ben White played right back, you never saw it, but there's also a game where we lost Ben White through the middle. Suddenly we lose that, him stepping in and finding options, and that kind of harmed us. Equally, of course, Cedric's come in. They ain't been, well, arguably, some people would say we look better down that side, really. But you get the point. We're not at that level for me where we can do them rotation things. So when rotation is necessary, I'm not saying don't take players out, but I can understand why, even a couple of games ago, man was saying take out Lacazette. Remember the Watford game, people say take out Saka. So I'm not saying these things are wrong. It's just we need to keep in mind this is the business end of the season. If it's not broke, don't fix it. Until somebody's really dropped off a cliff or really underperforming or something forces Arteta's hand, I think we should just cool off with it, really. As I said at the start of the season, the gloves is off. Anyone if you're not playing, even if I think you're hard done by, make Arteta play you, because all I care about is the collective. Right now, the collective is getting to where they need to get to. By God's grace, the destination is where we all want. So it is what it is. When we're playing and we've made a bit of space in the top four, then maybe, you ain't played. Come in. You come get a game. You this and that. Because obviously, ironically, yesterday, you would have loved for it to have been more of a landslide. So we could say, you know what, Saka, come off earlier. Odegaard, lovely, come off. Lacazette, come off. We're going to get a recovery session today, I'd assume. Maybe some sort of training. Psh. Now we got to focus for Liverpool, which the boys do. One thing I like is, bro, the game's gone now, innit? Like, as great as it is about Leicester, we can waffle about it. It's irrelevant. The boys need to just continue. Look forward. You've got 2 cup finals this week. Villa, Liverpool. It'll be lovely to have 7 to 9 points. Minimum, if you really want this top 4 thing, for me, is 6. So with that being said, you try against Liverpool. Hopefully we can do a thing. You've got 50% of what I've asked for against Leicester. Villa away, where, boy... Liverpool might have the double laugh on us, people, really and truly, because, we might get sourced by 2 former Liverpudlians in a gaffer and a South American playmaker. He might just put a FU up and say, I told you should have got my agent to bring me. So let's see, man. Appreciate the comments. You lot on fire, man. Professional performance. World class is another level. Martin has been excellent, but still needs to do it for longer and can still get better to unlock that. And that's the thing. That's the beautiful thing. Nobody's the finished article. I hope Arsenal are in a scenario where we can look at whoever in it. Like, we probably never, and he's a different one. But we can look at these Haalands and who's still not the finished product. But you get the point. These sort of upper echelon sort of talents. Right now, we're not that in it. Right now we're still got players that are still proving themselves, still developing, and that's what we got to start selling. It worked with Odegaard, bro. Listen, Real Madrid aren't going to use your thing. Come to us. And one thing I liked, we didn't do this pussy old loaning him again like we did with Ceballos. Because could you imagine? We'd be developing Odegaard for our next club, and he'd say, you know what, safe. I'm going back to Madrid. Madrid probably, ironically, this is probably the closest he could have been to getting true in Madrid. I know we had the Sociedad loan and things. Or Madrid could say, you know what, we're trying to get Camavinga, Mbappe. They're getting linked every Camavinga, Tuchemani, Gravenberch. Everybody's linked with Real Madrid. Lewandowski. They might say, you know what, we could have taken 30 for him for Odegaard last summer, bro. What's he worth now? 50, 60 million euros? What was it? Would you have got a 5% sell-on clause? Are people willing to offer you a 10, such as their desperation? Boy. Segment regarding forgotten man Lokonga. Bro, but this is the harsh reality of the football thing, Can't advocate Lokonga right now. Like, you know me, I like the young players. I still think Lokonga's got a bright future. I think he's shown the good, bad, the ugly. He's a young man that's got a platform to build upon, still needs to learn. Like Partey, I feel he was involved more regularly when we was a mess in midfield. Now it looks there's a bit of stability. We can't afford to carry passengers. Right now, unfortunately, he is one, in the sense of, bro, as much as we're trying to do this young thing, bring the young guys through, develop, right now it's a ruthless thing. We're fighting for top 4. We need to be getting 3 points. You can't really advocate for Lokonga to be in starting, and arguably at times come off the bench, even times like where I was a bit nervous again. He's going to give you 5 out of 10, my at minimum. Lokonga's at that age, he might give you a 10 out of 10 one week, he's a 3 out of 10 the other week, and that's cool. He's learning, he's learning, he's adapting to life in the country, he's adapting to what our like I said, these lot are relearning things. Lokonga has to learn, he's learning things he didn't even know he needed to learn. He's relearning everything. So I listen, it is what it is. I still believe in him. I think he'll get his chance, but right now I can't advocate for you to play. Do I want you to grab some minutes? Yeah, but I want 3 points. Probably needs to do a lot psychologically. He's still young. I keep saying it. I still think, despite the youth, you played 70 odd times for Anderlecht, clapped by your country, and captained Anderlecht. You need to learn to look over your shoulders. I don't think he does that. I feel, that's the only way he's going to get into it, really. I still, that's not right a man off. He's got a lot to learn, the pace of the Premier League is clearly a culture shock. I feel at the time he was playing, he looked like he just looked like he needed a hug, if I'm honest with you. He looked like, when you just want the ground to open up, like around that, ironically, them times there was playing Liverpool in the cup, he just looked nervous anytime he was on the ball. There was one of those games in that period where he reacted, but yeah, man, you get the point. But shout out him. Still believe in it. And that's what's going to happen with these young players. They're going to go through that. Bro, look around the time where, do you remember there was a point where, the most funniest thing is now people, I'm not saying you, but you see how people can say Smith Rowe and Odegaard can play together now. You see, don't sign him because we've got Smith Rowe. This and that. You look at, there was times in the season where Odegaard's the guy. Smith Rowe's had to come out for whatever reason. Smith Rowe was the guy. Odegaard had to sit back. Go back to the Brighton times where people weren't kind to Smith Rowe. Look at Lacazette in the first half of the season to now. A lot of these players are hot and cold. A lot of these players are trying to bring consistency. And I'm talking more about the young ones now, and it just in general over a 38-game period in the Premier League, there's many highs and lows. Think about it collectively, the stories Arsenal have gone on. Think about what you thought about. You probably can't. I can't. But the first week of August, the second week of August, the third, so on and so forth, September, etc., 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 all till now. A day is a long time in football. A week's a long time in football. So you can imagine the period of games. There's different heroes and villains, and that's a season. That is what happens in a season. People are going to start off well, go off the boil. Other people are going to find their feet. Some men are never going to get it. Some guys are just going to be good from the start. It's one of them things there. And this is why you need a squad. As I always, bro, you lot that follow me, I sound like a broken record. I sit here and I always say it's a 38-game calendar. You need options. You can play Smith Rowe and Odegaard. You can play none of them. You could play them and maybe an imaginary another midfield guy. You might need steel in midfield, so you go with 2 6s. You might be shook, so you go with 2 6s and an 8. You go with 2 8s and a 10. You go with 3 6s. You go with none. These are the options Arteta needs, and this is why probably I'm harsher on Arteta in midfield. Like, I see what you're doing with Xhaka. I don't know about its long-term ability or something, like a long-term longevity would be the word I'm searching for. So yeah, man, Lokonga doing his thing, man. I must say, I'm starting to think I was wrong about Odegaard. You think? So I had stocks in Odegaard. I had stocks, and now it's one where we can pop out our chest and act up. I wanted Maddison, but Martin looks settled. There's nothing wrong with it. I wanted Odegaard. I was gassed about Odegaard, but I wanted Maddison as well. I'm selfish. I like you said you can't have your cake and eat it. Martin looks settled, and again, respectfully, can't really judge a man on we was a mess when he come into the team. That you have to do. Any team, any player that goes. Listen, I always banter Jadon Sancho, but he went into a mess. They still are a mess, but they're less of a mess. He's finding his feet. So yeah, you're right, man. You're right. He's doing what he's doing. I'd say the main thing for me, whether I rate Odegaard and you rate Odegaard, or we rate this guy, don't rate that guy. What I wanted to see is we've been signing players, and it's almost like, why are you here? Like, was you just one of the guys that year where man is saying bring you to the club? There's building blocks. Whether you rate Odegaard or rate Arteta, but you can see why he was brought and what we're doing. The same goes for other players. That's what I want. If you buy a tool, use it. It is what it is. So yeah, man, get the best out of them. I wanted Maddison. I still do, man. Side note, happy to see Ramsdale gets praise from opposing managers. Boy needs that respect as England's number one. Tell him again. Southgate, are you watching? DG, I was watching the match yesterday, and around the 83rd, 84th minute, the passing one-touch movement was so different. One of the Arsenal of the last 5 years, you guys are cooking. And 8 completes this midfield trust. I think everyone's losing their mind when Ramsdale was bought for 24 million. Hey, not me. Not me. Sorry, I know I do the not meeting, but you can go back in August. I said it. Why am I getting onto Ramsdale? I get it. I would not say I was not sitting there and saying, yo, Ramsdale is going to do this. You lot are going to be wrong. I can understand because for me, the thing was, I'll take Ramsdale. I don't think he's dead and that, but I don't see what we're doing here. Like, I didn't know Ramsdale had, I knew he can make saves and I knew he'd have a certain mentality because he's part of relegation threatened teams and stuff. You need to be able to talk and puff out your chest. And, you know, just based on where he's from in England, like, what is he, a Yorkshire man or something like that, or them sort of sides there, or it's either that or Stoke, wherever sides he's from, you know, I can't remember where it is, but them man are normally honest in that. And when you look into his background, which I did, you look at his family, you could see that he's just one of the lads, really, and an honest guy. But first thing is ball playing. I didn't know you had that with his feet. Fair enough. The man that needed to make the decision made the decision, innit? So Odegaard's doing his thing, man. I mean, Ramsdale's doing his thing. Odegaard is as well. But you're right, man. And that's it. You just open to prove wrong. We're very vocal when the club have proved us right. Some of us, when Willian was shit, when this guy, when that guy in the third. So you have to hold your hands up. As I always say, you know, you can't be vocal and condemning and silent in praises. You got to give man same energy. You know, when we was doing rubbish, they deserve the question mark because we don't understand what's going on. When things are going well, and you can only comment on what you see. You know, internally the club were working on stuff. You could see it. Well, you could see it in hindsight. We're not there. If we was at the Emirates or London Coley or heard certain things, football fans in general might look a bit different. Our job is to just be decent humans in society, pay our tickets, go watch the game, comment on what we see. Now, for all the propaganda that comes out the club and all these things, man, I'm seeing it. So what can you say? Hey, man, DG, you're a world-class YouTuber, presenter, analyst, self-promoting, self-made, enough respect, like button smashed. I appreciate that. Nowhere near world-class though, man. I think I'm Odegaard. I think I'm in Odegaard's position, man. You know my thing, but I'll be world-class one day, man. Not right now, though, but I appreciate that. Just to be talked and mentioned in the same word shows we're on the right track still. I love to see Ben White and Ramsdale's just how they how they gas up the defending. Like even Cedric had some shaky moments yesterday, but there was one incident he covered quite well. And, you know, in fact, C was there. You was in the live watch along. There was one as a fullback, you know, the ball come in from Leicester and he just pull it out for a corner. And it's not the most eye-catching of defending, but I liked it because he took no risk. And I liked the way that everyone was like, yo, sort of thing. That's one thing I like because even previously at Arsenal, I'm not going to sit here and say players have not cheered on their teammates when they've made a mistake. But what I like is the way we kind of, you know, along the way, other men are going to need to be picked up. There might even be times Arteta forgets what he's doing, you know. Again, there must be times as a manager where, especially when things are going wrong, as much as Arteta had a plan and all these things and it's all coming to light and the club and whatnot, man are human. There has to have been times in this season where Arteta was doubting what the hell he's doing, whether he's the right guy, whether he's this. And for the players, that's why it's vital for the players to see what you're doing so they can believe in you. Go and look at Pep with Iniesta when Iniesta walked into his office in his autobiography. So there's that. But also a part of it is, and a key part of it, I would say, anyone that's a business owner or whatever, you know, or a parent, actually, sometimes you're probably even if you was a parent and your son or daughter showed you something that scares you, you can't let them see that. You know, you've got to promote calmness. And Arteta probably at some point where there's been no reason to be calm, really no reason to be confident, there has to have been times where he's promoted that. So I'm happy to see. What I'd love to see was the improvement of controlling the game. Unlike against Watford, 83rd minute on with those intricate passes, keeping possession helped us over the line. And that's what I mean by there's many forms of defending. There's the thugs in midfield, just sixes, just lock it down. How you hold onto the ball and retain possession. And obviously, I'm also care about that in games against Liverpool and stuff, and City games where we're going to be under the cosh, where we're not really going to be on the front foot. That's where you see what a number 8 just winning a couple fouls and them things there can do for you. Odegaard's form feels like Nasri just before he left, gone to a different level. Boy. If Partey caressed that top corner, he'd be man of the match for me. But if Odegaard wasn't in the side, the game would have been different. You could say the game might have been different if not for Partey as well. I hear you, though. To be fair, Leicester did make us look better. There's no way they dominate the midfield without Telemans and Ndidi, not to take away from a performance. You're true, but we can't be involved in that, man. And at the same time, boy, Brighton, Palace, we struggled when they never had necessarily key men. You can't stop the rain. Can we kiss the banner era goodbye? Time will tell, bro. Time will tell. You know, we're still in. It's just funny enough. It's almost like it was 10 years ago. But boy, where was we in August? My point being May, and then years will tell in it. How long is this project? How long is a project? Anything from 2 to 3, 4 years? Time will tell, man. I think our left-hand side watching the game again was quite good, was very good, but it can be a bit one-dimensional. Best midfield partner for Partey, in your opinion? I mean, Kakare don't want to sign a new deal at Lyon. You've got Aouar. You got Fabio Ruiz there. I would not mind Ruben Neves. I wouldn't mind Douglas Luiz. I mean, Tellerman's got a lot of naiveties. I wouldn't mind a Tellerman's there. Hit the like button if you haven't done that as well, folks. There's a lot in it, like really. What a performance from everyone. They tried to capitalize on Cedric being our weak link, but even he stepped up. Long may this last. Hear that? Would you start Ben White on the right versus Liverpool? Do you know what? There needs to be a time where Arsenal, where we can start, you know, a couple games. Let's go to a 3. Let's do this. Let's do that. And there's every logic with changing it for Liverpool. But honestly, fuck it. Keep it all the same. And I know that the Cedric thing does scare me, but like I don't think our IQ is that high enough, and I feel we'll be very defensive. We might as well go for it, man. We might as well be a bit naive. You know, I can see us being naive, but fuck it. You might as well just go with a back 4. You might as well just go with a back 4, keep everything. You move Ben White across, you're going to kill any sort of build-up play we have. And again, when you're playing Liverpool, there's going to be periods where under the cushion and not have the ball. So every time you have the ball, you need to be 10 times more sharp. So I'd feel a lot more comfortable with Ben White there. And it all depends who comes in now. Rob Holding, I mean, he's good in a low block and that, you know. I have no doubt he has had good games, but I don't think I would change much, man. Come on, I mean, Brooke Norton Coffey's doing quite well, you know. As I tweeted, don't understand that sending off for him. Don't under headbutt. This is a headbutt, you know. Asking someone what you're doing is a headbutt, but he's doing quite well and naturally he should get a new deal. Was he contracted until 2023? Doing quite good at Lincoln. Let's let the man, like with half of these young players, let's let them develop. Brooke Norton Coffey's doing the right thing, man. Doing the right thing, doing his thing. Do you think we should go to a back 3 against Liverpool? Potentially, but I don't think I would. In fact, that's a question for Graham as well. Sorry, people, I've got Graham at 3, so. I've been moaning for about a decade about us hit the like button, people, about us missing a strong core at the back. And this season, it looks like we're getting that. Sprinkling a striker, Saliba and a midfielder next season could be lit. You know, I can only talk about next season when it's here, innit? And as an Arsenal fan, as much as I love the potential we've got, I've still got PTSD. Potential is what you make it. We've all got potential, you know? We've all got potential in life, but not everybody realizes it. Not everybody makes it. Not everybody does the rest of it. So let's just see it, you know. As much as I feel that things are different and we're doing stuff, I kind of seen this movie before. Please show me it's another ending. I don't want to look too much in the future. I like to comment on what I can see, and what I can see is stars of tomorrow. What I can see is building blocks and stuff, but it's what you do in the present, you know. And it's down to us not to rest on our laurels. The building block for next season internally needs to begin same way. Hey, man. Man said Tuesday, Wednesday, no more Thursday. It could be Thursday. Man's trying to do the positive thing, man. What do you think about Felix and Lewin for the summer? Why not? In theory, you've got someone that can just play as a number 9 when we need it, and Felix would be there, but that's a massive outlay. You know, Felix, they're saying 80 to 100 million allegedly, and, you know, unless Everton go down, which is looking a real possibility, and you can get that discount, it's looking a brazy one, man. But they're going to want their £75 million back in it or more, and again, Napoli are difficult to do business with. Trust. And one thing I like about Ben White, he's not really on playing that pass to his right back. He wants to try the magic. I mean, big up Lacazette, man. You know, he presses well. I mean, if he wants to sign a new deal and we're not going to bring in 2 strikers, I can understand it. But, you know, I don't want to do the emotional thing. If Arteta's done the analytics and says, you know what, this is the guy and everything matches up, why not? Appreciate that, Warren. Bro, just let him develop, man. It's a training ground thing for Lokonga, man. Just let him do his thing, man. DG, we always let players go for free or dirt cheap. We need to keep ridiculous prices like other clubs. I mean, and that comes with tying people down. I mean, obviously, the tearing up deals and things, it's not sustainable from a business point of view. So we're going to have to see, man. Would you offer Lacazette a new deal? I don't know where I sit on this, you know. I'd probably say no, because I feel my emotion is telling me yes. I would say yes, because I feel, as I said, we all know we've got bigger games to play next season. Lacazette, listen, I'm not keeping Lacazette because he's good with the young on the field, yeah, but being good off the field, all that stuff, respectfully, everybody should have that. Like everybody in this, the young players that are in this team should be an example, which they are for the younger players, all the other experienced players, you know. And if we've got this 5 captain stuff, then you don't necessarily need that. You know, again, if we're gonna have bare games in Champions League, then Lacazette coming in could be an option. It provided he wants to do that, because you know, if I'm Lacazette, I'm looking at it, boy, I might be able to I might be happy in London and whatnot here. But I'm really only playing potentially because of this Aubameyang stuff that happened. I had to force my way into the team at the start. So is the manager necessarily convinced with me, or is this a quick fix that is working at this moment in time? Which credit to Arteta. Do I want to sit on the bench? Of course, you could help us qualify for Champions League, London aspect, etc. What I will say is we need to. What is our plan for Lacazette? If he's going to sign a 1-year deal, 2-year deal, which I'm not necessarily for, 1 year with an extension, then why not? But it's crucially about how he's going to be next season. How do we see him next year? How do you see him playing a part? If you're not going to bring in 2 strikers, then you might as well keep him for the squad. If not, you've got a decision to make. But I do feel it's an emotional one. I do actually feel probably the right decision is to let Lacazette walk. But I don't feel there is one, a bit like Aubameyang leaving in January, I don't feel there's one you could do. A lot probably depends on what we do in the market. Based on the way Arteta speaks about the Lacazette situation, I'd have to say he's gone in it. Anything can happen. But even with Eddie, he hasn't spoken about him because it looks like we're at where we're at. But with Eddie, he was very specific. I want him to stay. With Lacazette, he's talked him up. He's gassed up his thing, but he's been quite blasé. He's been, what would be the word, like non-committal. Xhaka looks uncomfortable. Bit harsh. If we finish in Europe, we need to recruit big time with our squad being light at the moment. Lots of contracts / other players leaving. True. Yo, G, hope you're well. You see Xhaka's role in the team. Do you think we need someone who can emulate Odegaard but on the left-hand side, or do you think we need a bit more defensive, 1 or 2? Could Odegaard, Partey, Maddison work? Is that too open? Who do you think is best suited to the left centre mid role currently being played by Xhaka? Well, it probably is Xhaka. I wouldn't mind Fabian Ruiz and Broski. I might be sounding a bit selfish, but again, 38 games, however much you, from start, by God's grace, obviously I'm gassing it now, from the start of the group stages of the Champions League to the final, including the final, how much games is that? Or in Europa League, same thing, how much games is that? FA Cup, how much games is that? Europa League, not Europa, Carabao Cup, how much games is that? 38 games. Bro, you need different options. And we've tried different things this season. At times, Aubameyang and Lacazette was working up front. Just Lacazette alone was working. Smith Rowe working off the left or in the middle. Odegaard playing slightly deeper. There was a point Odegaard was coming in off the wings. You know, we tried different things. Right now, it's the Lacazette thing. With a couple others, you need different options. So I'm with you on that, man. I do think you probably do need someone who can emulate, well, I would say just do Xhaka's role better than him, if I'm honest with you, to a higher quality. But who wouldn't mind someone else like Odegaard? You know, we used to be blessed with creativity and, you know, Smith Rowe, emergence under Arteta, or re-emergence because Emre bust him. And obviously Odegaard finding his feet, we're getting that. But you need bare options, bro. You know, you either have bare options or just the luxury of changing, or you do the City thing, which we can't do right now, where we can do what we want because we're better than you, man. Like, as simple as that. Like, we're going to do this balling thing because we're better than you, man. We're just going to ball all the time. So, yeah, man. Yeah, our fans did back it. Our fans have backed it from the start. And again, that's one thing I have to give the fans credit for and the club because, bro, fans, we've always said we'll always back anything where we can see it. And again, Arteta, from the moment you walked in the door, you said, yo, everybody, we've got to all get on the same hymn sheet, sing from the same hymn sheet. DG, will Southgate have the G's to drop Maguire for Ben White? No. Well, take them both, really. Man said Manta era is only over when Xhaka goes. He hasn't done something ridiculous for a few games, so he's just been gassed up. But we've seen the story before. Charlie, you're consistent. Matias Nunes is a baller. Him, Pedro Gonalves, them sort of man. I wouldn't mind some Portuguese flavour sprinkled in and among the team, really. We dominated their midfield at Leicester last season when they had Ndidi and Telemans. Tell him again. Good day to you, DW, as well, man. Odegaard is playing... sorry, someone said you can't hear me. That sounds like a you problem, broski. Odegaard, sorry, my guy. Odegaard is playing 3D chess, and some of the others are still playing checkers. It will take some time and a few more players with a higher football IQ to come in, and it will bang long term. Trust, and you're seeing what I see when he's doing some of them complicated passes. It's like some of his teammates is so good, it's confused. Like, huh, bro? I couldn't even process that pass to get there, bro. Like, I want to get to that level, and I think Odegaard would be one. Like, you know, when we had like Ramsey would always get involved and try to do things above his pay grade. It used to piss me off, but you know, Wilshere used to get involved. And these three players, I don't know why, but they used to always bring Welbeck in. But do you remember we'd have 11, and then it would just be Santi, Ozil, Alexis. They'll just be doing their own thing. Like you man, we're all, it's an Arsenal thing, but you get me. Us lot, we're different with it. German, Chile, Spanish. You know, we're bringing the flavor here. We're doing some other stuff, and I think Odegaard could be one. Couple other man could cook right now. It's Odegaard and Saka's thing. Like